show me the essential products for girls, period.
I cannot tell you the overwhelming amount of students, teachers, admin, nurses that are not only contacting Fam Rights, but are contacting BWA because their students are in dire need of these products.
Stephanie Lorenzo, co-founder and executive director of the reproductive justice group Famalaw and Rights, is speaking out after learning what senators did to the Guam Department of Education's funding, cutting back on what would cover menstrual products in public schools.
We fought to ensure that our students have access to these products. At the end of the day, we want to give these students the dignity and the basic human respect and right that they deserve to, be a student in school, to ensure that their education is not at risk because they don't have access to period products.
Lorenzo co-authored the Period Poverty Act when she was with the Guam Youth Congress. The act requires all public school nursing or counselor offices have menstrual products such as tampons and sanitary pads available for students free of charge. Lorenzo argues the cutbacks will only mean more financial restrictions and negatively impact the social stigma for young girls' menstrual cycles and education. 8 senators voted Tuesday afternoon on an amendment that reduces the $100,000 amount for the Period Poverty Act by 3/4, funding only $25,000.
That other $75,000 can go to someone else, like a teacher for SPED. We can hire an additional teacher for SPED, or have DOE finally build a ramp for a child who has a disabilities, or the awnings that are needed when these kids, get off the bus and it's all wet. So why would we hold that money hostage? Secondly, $92,000 from last year was still there, hasn't been utilized. So it's real simple.
Senator Telo Taitigui telling KUAM the cuts followed information they got from GDOE's head nurse claiming the $25,000 was all that was spent for products in the past school year.
Last year was never funded through the legislature. It never came out of the general fund. It was actually through, I think, the Women's Bureau at $100,000 that she got from ARP funding. So everybody was in agreement because money wasn't taken from the general fund. It was taken from a grant.
As reported, GDOE Deputy Superintendent Erica Cruz admitted school nurses have been covering the cost of the products out of pocket, adding they've also received community donations. Senator Taitigui adding she was told from the head nurse that the act prevents GDOE from getting federal grants to buy more.
No one from DOE said a word about any kind of supplanting or that this would jeopardize federal funding, nothing.
Both Lorenzo and Bureau of Women's Affairs Director Jane Flores says they had no idea of any potential federal grant blockage when the act became law. Flores adding they too were donating to the schools.
We had to wait until October of 2022 when FY 2023 kicked in, and I made a note and sent it to Senator Shelton saying make sure that when you are having the budget hearings for GDOE that they set aside money for the menstrual products. Please make sure, because this is the law now. And so, yes, we're going to do that. So apparently the money was set aside. And in February of 2023, I started getting emails from middle and high schools saying, hey, do you have any menstrual products? Our girls need menstrual products. And so I get donations here, so I donated everything I had.
Sides arguing left and right about the funding, but the big question remains, if GDOE does have the products, well, where are they? KUAM obtaining the purchase orders made just this past Tuesday, the same day the issue was voted on at the legislature. GDOE confirming their vendor delivered part of the order, which will go out to school health counselors tomorrow. Additionally, GDOE's head nurse Julieta Kineni tells KUAM the remaining funds appropriated from the menstrual hygiene appropriation will be made available for further needs. If funds are not used, the superintendent can exercise transfer authority. We are aware that the legislature is currently discussing a carryover for these funds. GDOE Superintendent Kenneth Swanson plans to use the funds quarterly so that the products can be made available for the entire female student body. After our interview with Lorenzo, Famalaw and Rights posted on social media that bottom line, cutting funding for period products shows our people that our government is not willing to provide the proper funding to ensure that our students can go to school while on their period. Julian Hernandez, KUAM News.